welcome to Cosplay Interview. Today I'm interviewing, now I don't want to mispronounce it. It's Alys Belyn?
Belyn.
Belyn. Alys Belyn,
Yeah,
a
like
cosplayer.
like one of the wives that Henry VIII killed.
Okay. Like Bolin. Okay, Bolin. Yeah. Okay, Belyn. And today she's cosplaying as?
Persephone from Lore Olympus, like a webtoon comic book type of thing.
Very nice. Very nice. So, Alys, how did you discover cosplaying?
So funny story. It was a couple years ago, I think 5, maybe ish. I had never even watched anime before,
Hmm.
and I had a friend who was like, "Oh, we should watch anime," and I was like, "Yeah, right. Why would I do that?" Um, so
Yeah.
he made me watch Death Note, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good." And then we watched a couple other ones. So I was just online looking for more like animes to watch, like recommendations. Oh, I like this one. What should I watch? And I just stumbled across pictures of people dressed up like the characters,
No.
and I was like, "What is this?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, it's cosplay. Like people do it all the time." And I was like, "You mean like I can play dress up as an adult and it's normal?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna do it. That's it. That's all I needed to know."
Nice. So, did you dress up a lot when you were a little child?
Yes. I love to play dress up. I also have a background in classical ballet,
Oh,
so
nice.
there's a lot of costumes that come with the territory of just doing dance and stuff. So
Yeah.
costumes and sparkles and pretty and all of that has just always been a big interest of mine.
Nice. So, what was your first official cosplay?
My first official was Seal Phantom Hive from Black Butler.
Okay.
I did a big pink Victorian dress that he wears to like disguise himself in an episode,
Nice.
and it was all handmade. My grandma made that for me because I still wasn't like too good at sewing, and so I didn't trust myself to make a corset dress,
Yeah.
essentially. So she made that for me, and then she made a hat for me that was just perfect, and it was just made out of cardboard.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and it turned out just amazing.
So, what are your next 3 cosplay plans?
Oh, that's tough because I have cosplays that I'm actively making,
Okay.
and then I have cosplays that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that when I finish all these other ones.
Yeah.
So, like, I would say the ones I am working on is Batwoman, um, Claire Redfield from Resident Evil 2,
Mm.
and what's the other? Um, I totally don't. I spaced. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
I do actually. One of the things that I have planned is I want to do a My Chemical Romance cosplay as like
Oh,
Gerard Way in the Black Parade. Just have always loved that aesthetic, and I think that it would be really fun to um, like create a cosplay based on that.
nice. So, have you ever been in a cosplay contest?
No, I've thought about joining with some of my cosplays, but then I think nerves get to me, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be judged, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's true. So, when you do make your cosplays, do you prefer sewing, armor making, or wig working?
um, Probably sewing. I would say is my like top skill.
Hmm.
Armor making, I think, is a lot of fun. But definitely like the sewing, I have a lot more freedom with, and I do try to make like a majority of my costume that way. And then wigs, I I don't really care for doing wigs that much. Um, I find it difficult.
Hmm. So, in your bio on your Instagram, it says that you're a cosplayer, you're a ballet dancer, and a history maker. What does
Maker.
that mean?
that is like a reference from an anime called Yuri on Ice,
Okay.
which is just an amazing anime about like figure skating. And I just relate to the main characters so much. And the main theme song of that show is called History Maker.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
just, yeah. And I do a lot of stuff. So it's like to me, I'm like, I do so many things all the time that I'm like, you know, I'm a history maker. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Usually I'm a trendsetter. Yeah. So, when you're not cosplaying, what do you do outside of cosplay?
um, so I do a lot. Um, some might say I do too much because I have a couple of businesses.
Hmm.
One of them I to close for obvious reasons because of the way the world right now. I had a massage business that I built from nothing. Um, that I had been doing for years. I've been a massage therapist for 10 years. Uh, I had a business. This year was actually my 4 year anniversary, so it's like sad that I kind of lost it.
Mm,
But I also do. I started making masks on Etsy, so like that's been my kind of only source of income. But I
nice.
also do resin crafts, and I make lip gloss, and soon I'll be making eyeshadows and like other makeup products. I also like to just create fashion looks, and I model, and I, the dancing. So I just do a lot, and I spend a lot of time crying because I'm stressed that I do too much. So
Usually that comes with the territory.
that's how I get everything done. I just sometimes have to have a good cry about it. I'm like, oh god, I can't do any of this anymore.
Yeah.
I get it done.
So in the ways of cosplay with the whole COVID-19 thing, how are you coping and how are you dealing with the whole pandemic in ways of your cosplay? Is it hurting you in any way, or is it actually branching you out to other possibilities?
Um, I actually haven't focused a lot on the cosplay stuff. Um, too much. I was like, oh well, at least now I'll have time to finish making all my cosplays.
Right.
But because I started doing like a mask making business, I spend maybe 12 hours a day sitting at my sewing machine sewing masks.
Well,
So it's like that
good.
it's a majority of my time. And I'm like, I want to cosplay more. So I'm like, okay, this weekend, like Saturday, I'm gonna, get into whatever cosplay, or I'm gonna work on a cosplay,
Hmm.
and I'll take pictures, maybe some TikToks or something. And then by the time the weekend gets there, I'm just like, I'm exhausted. I, so it kind of sucks because I haven't cosplayed as much as I would like to
Yeah.
have been doing. Yeah.
So when you do your photo shoots, do you prefer to be like a green screen type of cosplayer, or would you say you go to the location?
I like doing location. I've never done a green screen photo shoot. I think it would be a lot of fun with some of the characters that I cosplay, because then I feel like, especially for like a superhero, you could get that like I'm flying kind of
Hmm.
vibe that you
Yep.
get from doing it on location shoot. But I do like locations, especially like abandoned buildings. I think that's a lot of fun to shoot in.
Yeah. Nice. So is there a type of character that you cosplay frequently?
Um, I I don't know if they have anything like in common, but
Mm,
I just really like cute characters. I like when cosplays have a lot of pretty elements in them.
okay.
Like I did cosplay from Yuri on Ice because they're figure skating costumes, and so crystals, just so many crystals. I spent months hand gluing thousands and thousands of crystals to this costume,
Hmm.
but it sparkles. So
Nice.
I like pretty cosplays.
Nice. So do you have any favorite cosplayers? Can't say Discordia cosplay for obvious reasons.
I see. I don't pay attention to people's names because I'll
Yeah.
just browse Instagram and I'm like, oh, I love this cosplay. It's gorgeous. So like, I don't actually pay attention to like the names, or like I follow people, but then I don't remember who they are because some people change their names regularly, and I'm like, who is this? I don't know why they're on
Hmm.
my like. for like my feed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily have like a favorite. I do really like Jessica Negri's work. I just think that she's really funny in all of her posts because like she'll do like a full cosplay, but then she'll do like a super sexy version of whatever. But then
Hmm.
sometimes she posts like meme type stuff, and I just think that it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's very interesting. So, bouncing off on that, would you say that you have favorite cosplays then? Like type of cosplays that you've seen and you're like, "Oh, I want to do that," or I would, that looks really nice. So, what type of characters would you say you like?
Well, like I said, I like pretty ones. So like anything that involves like sparkle or certain types of fabric that I find really pretty. I love seeing people who do uh, what is the word I'm looking for? Like a non-canon cosplay. Like I love non-canon cosplays because I
Okay.
love when people take a character and do something completely different with it. Like I like to add a lot of fashion elements to a lot of my cosplays.
Okay.
So it's like in particular my Gwenpool cosplay, I added like these like garter belts with little hearts and spikes on them. She doesn't ever wear in the in the comic books or anything. But I was like, well, this is really cute, and they're pink, and they match the outfit, so like, why
Yeah.
not? Yeah. And then I do like a different hairstyle, like in her normal like comic book version, and I just think it's more fun to kind of put your own artistic spin on a cosplay. So I always enjoy seeing people who do that in their cosplays where like I can tell what the character is, like who it's supposed to be, but I can also see that you added like a completely new element or like your own spin on it or made it like an alternate universe type of thing. I always think those are really fun.
Nice. So, what's the most detailed cosplay you've ever done?
Probably my free skate Yuri on Ice because again that's thousands of crystals. And I actually I got like nerve damage to my shoulder because I was like in this position for so long.
Wow.
Like the muscle cramped, and for like a couple months I had like no feeling in part of my back.
That's craziness. So, what are your top three craftsmanship tips that you could offer when making cosplays?
Um Craftsmanship. One I would say make sure that you're using the materials that you feel are like appropriate. You don't want to make a ball gown out of like cotton because it's not really going to be a ball gown.
Mm.
And then I would also say don't be afraid to like um, take like risks with it. Like
Okay.
change things up. Like especially if you are not totally confident in what you're doing. I have cosplays that I didn't want to put a hem on, and I hot glued them. I hot glued the hem. So
Okay.
sometimes
Works.
you just have to cheat. Um, it's something my dad actually used to say. He would like when we play board games or whatever, be like, if you're not cheating, you're not really playing. And it always just made me laugh because who says that?
Right.
But and then I would say number three is always remember the 5 foot rule. As long as it looks good from 5 feet away, there's like, it looks fine. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And I would also like people to know that a lot of the times the things that you notice about your own cosplay, other people usually don't. If you're like, oh, well, there's just like this one little spot that just isn't right. Most people don't even see that. They're just like, oh, it's a cosplay. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So
10 years ago, cosplay was more like of a if you dress up, you're the nerd. Whereas today, now, if you don't dress up, you're the nerd. You're the outcast. What do you feel is the future of cosplay?
I don't know. I guess that's hard to say because I myself am still like uh, new at it, I guess, because I've
Mhm.
only been cosplaying for about 4 years ish. So I don't really feel like I am qualified to say like where it's going. But I feel like it's becoming more and more mainstream. Like more people are doing it.
Mhm.
I don't really know.
Okay. So do you feel that cosplay is more female dominated versus, male dominated, or do you feel that more males are getting into it and they're getting more exposure despite the fact that females have an upper hand on cosplay?
I mean, I feel like I see a lot of male cosplayers, especially on TikTok, and I like to follow them because I like seeing their stuff and some of the stuff that they make. I definitely wish there were more male cosplayers that do some of the stuff that I do, like make things a little more fashiony. But
Mhm.
again, I think that's just like a preference, and uh, yeah, it's more of a female uh, focused
Yeah.
type of hobby. But I think that's only because people are like, "Ooh, that's a hot girl," or like, "Oh, look, there's boobs." So I think
Yeah.
they get traction. Like it's easier to get traction. Whereas like if you're a guy, like you have to be really good or something for people to like notice you,
Yeah.
which is kind of sad because like I like to follow all kinds of cosplayers, no matter like what they're making.
Yeah, exactly. So, what is the worst cosplay horror story that you have? It's where everything went wrong.
I don't think I really have any.
That's good. Mhm.
Yeah, I tend to have like a pretty solid time, so I don't really have any like horror stories. I don't think.
So nothing fall off during a convention or something like that.
No, I'm pretty sturdy with my hot glue, so
Yeah.
I've not really had anything break or
Nice.
seams rip or anything like that. So
That's good.
no,
So what's the funniest cosplay story you have?
funniest. I don't know. It's not
Something.
necessarily funny,
Yeah.
but um, at the beginning of the year before everything went to crap, we had gone to TayuCon
Okay.
in Mesa,
Mhm.
and we did Invader Zim. So we did Gur and Zim, and that was just fun because people just like lost their shit when they saw us because
Mhm.
we had these giant heads and they're just massive, and we're just like waddling around the convention, and like it was just fun. I wouldn't say it was funny, but like it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So, um, what is your favorite cosplay that you've done then?
My favorite would be Gwenpool. Um,
Wonderful.
yeah, she's probably also like my best cosplay that I've ever made. um, and I made it in like 3 days. So
Wow, 3 days. That
I con crunched it, but it is just amazing. Like this cosplay is immaculate, and I am so proud of it.
yeah.
It's like it's my favorite out of everything that I've made, even more than like my Yuri on Ice one that took me months and destroyed my arm.
Yeah, I looked on your
That
Instagram where you were giving it away or something as a giveaway. Your
oh
Glen
no,
Pool.
he was giving away prints
The
of that cosplay.
prints. Okay. Yeah, I was like, is the print or is it okay, cool. Very nice. So as you get more into cosplay, like what is your goal in all of it?
Um, it's I just want to make stuff. Like that's all I want to do with my time and like my days. I just want to be able to make stuff. That's like my goal in life is making things. Like
Nice.
I just love the creativity I get. I love of art and I love the artistic side of like building and like painting and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So my goal would just be to just keep making cosplays.
So, what do you feel about the cosplayers who um, take this to more of a, I would say, business oriented, with opening up an OnlyFans, a Patreon, and everything like that? What are your thoughts about that? That some cosplayers or a lot of cosplayers are going to the the I guess risque type type of cosplay or lewd cosplays.
All for it. I have an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, being a business owner, and like I said, I own multiple businesses. I have three ish,
Hmm.
soon probably four.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am always thinking of new ways to market. And I think if you can market yourself, and the thing is, especially with like things like OnlyFans and stuff like that, sex sells. You know, the sexier your cosplay, the likely you are to be able to bring in an income from that.
Hmm.
And so, like, I always have a businesswoman type of mindset. I'm like, okay, how can I profit on something like this?
Yeah.
So, like, I do commissions occasionally. Like, I'll make armor pieces or just little like bodysuits. Like, I am a pro at making bodysuits. Um,
Nice.
that's like a majority of my costumes. But I think, if you have the confidence to do stuff like that, do it. I know there's people that are like, oh, well, there's consequences if you post too much of this or whatever. And it's like, there's consequences for everything.
Yeah, you walk out the
You,
door, there's consequence.
yeah, like there's always going to be a risk of everything. And I think if you have the confidence and you have the like drive, like do what you want to do. Like, I don't want to be the person that's like, don't do that,
Yeah,
unless
exactly.
it's something inappropriate, like don't
Well,
flirt with minors or something,
yeah, well, as
Yeah.
Uma Thurman said in The Producers, if you've got it, flaunt it, and I don't discourage anybody from doing what they want to do to earn money. It's like, hey, that's what you want to do it, you know.
Mhm.
And
I'm like, if you want to see, me in like a really sexy cosplay and you're willing to pay me money, like I've always had the
there you go.
mindset of like, if someone is willing to pay for it, I'm willing to get paid.
Yeah.
And that's just,
I
I'm
think a
sorry,
lot
but
of
like I,
people, no, I totally agree, because a lot of people, what they do is they think, okay, if I'm offering this, what's my limit? Like, and they don't know the limit. And sometimes they'll go too far in the eyes of society. But then in their own mind, they're like, oh, hey, I feel comfortable in my skin. I can do this. It's not a hard thing. So, with that, that's why a lot of people feel that cosplay is more female dominated, because of the fact that there are OnlyFans, there are Patreons out there that they offer lewd cosplay. And with a male cosplay, yeah, you can't really offer much except, oh, hey, I'm going to show you my chest. And that,
there are male lewd cosplayers. I subscribe to one's Patreon.
yeah,
They really fun content, and it's the guy. But yeah, it's out there. I think there's a market for everything. So I
everything.
think well, just if that's kind of your goal, just
Yeah,
find your market, find your demographic, and the people who are interested in that, and then
nice.
also have the confidence to do whatever it is that you are wanting to do with that market.
So, have you ever had a character interaction where you felt that it was like one of the best character interactions you've had in cosplay?
Mm, see, I would say when we do our charity work with Heroes United and put on the cape, we get a lot of really, really wholesome interactions,
Nice.
especially when I do like Wonder Woman,
Hmm.
and little girls see that and they just get like, oh my, Wonder Woman is my favorite, and I'm going to be Wonder Woman when I grow up. A lot of those interactions I find just like to be the most wholesome. We did
Nice.
one event with the Boys and Girls Club, and this little girl just like about died because Wonder Woman was there, and she just did not want to leave my side, and she gave me the biggest hug, and it was just really sweet. And her mom was like, "Oh yeah, she just had a Wonder Woman themed birthday party, and she got Wonder
Wow.
Woman doll." And it was really sweet. So like I
Nice.
love interactions like that because when it's an interaction with a kid, it's always so pure. There's no, it's just an adult in a costume. Like you're that character
Hmm.
to them. It's a lot, it's very heartwarming.
Yeah, it's
It's
it's really great with kids and everything because the funny thing is with my nephew, he's autistic, and one time he was in the hospital because what I did was I dressed up as Spider-Man for his birthday,
Mhm.
and he was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Spider-Man!" Oh, like all excited and everything. And so he was in the hospital, and his mom called me up and goes, "Hey, do you mind putting on your mask really quickly?" And it's like, "Yeah, I don't mind." And he's like, I go, "Hey, buddy." I got into a whole character, and he's like, "Hey, can you come over to the hospital?" I'm like, "No, Mary Jane has me doing a lot of chores around here right now, so I'm kind of tied up." He's like, "Oh, it's okay." I'm like, and those interactions, yes, with children are amazing. So
Mhm.
have you ever cosplayed with a family member before?
No.
No. And had now you stated before that you have a boyfriend. Have you cosplayed with him?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Discordia cosplay is my boyfriend. We've been together for 2 years, and yeah, we do a couple cosplays together. We do Invader Zim and Gur.
Oh, nice.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we do Tomoe and Nanami from Kami-sama Kiss.
Okay.
A couple characters from Death Parade, and then we have some like planned for future conventions. We're like, oh yeah, let's do this cosplay together. It'll be perfect.
Hopefully, we have conventions again. Fingers
Yes.
crossed. I'm thinking that 2020 conventions are gone. Game over. It's not going to happen. So
Yeah.
hopefully, TaioCon in January. Hopefully, that will be ready to roll. But it's it's not optimistic right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
It's definitely not looking too bright.
yeah. So, are you participating in any of these online cons, like these couch cons or anything?
I've done two. With Superheroes Unlimited. I've done two with them. I
Nice.
haven't done any more. I just haven't had the time. And then I haven't seen any of the like, oh, do you want to like be a part of this or whatever? So
Yeah. Like you said, you're busy making masks and and everything, and
yeah,
making makeup and everything.
yeah,
So for you, I guess the pandemic is kind of a benefit because it opened you more of a business aspect in ways of making makeup now and everything like that.
yeah. It gave me the freedom to like actually pursue some interests that I've had for a long time that I've never had the time to like um pursue, but it has
Mhm.
also been like financially draining because like I said, I have a massage business. Um, so I have an office that I pay for. I
Ooh,
pay $900 a month for an office that I'm not using.
yeah,
Um, and my lease isn't up until next year, so it's like, oh gosh, it's just kind of a nightmare.
yeah.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I've had all these opportunities to start other business ventures, which has been like great and fun. And then we also have an opportunity to actually buy a house right now, which is
Oh,
something that we've
nice.
not had the opportunity to do.
Very
Um,
good.
but it's like it's it's both tough and also a blessing because like losing a business is really tough.
Yeah,
But the positive is that if we buy this house, my business can be from home because like there's a dedicated space that I could use for massage for like a couple of clients that I feel like have seen me for years and I'm like, okay, you can come to my house, it's fine.
yeah.
So then I won't need to pay $900 a month for a space that's getting no use.
Exactly,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
So,
So, what are your go-to stores for cosplay materials or full-on cosplays? You said you make the cosplays yourself, so what are your go-to stores for that?
I buy a lot of stuff from Joanne, and Sass Fabric, and then I buy a lot of stuff from Michaels. And then I order a lot of stuff on Amazon. I know people hate Amazon, but like stuff gets delivered right away.
It
So like
does.
it's hard unless there was something comparable to Amazon where I could order, like an accessory or a wig and get it in 2 days. Like I'm gonna have to keep shopping with Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand the hate about Amazon. They get things on time, they're reliable. I don't understand why the hate.
Yeah, I've not had Amazon lose my packages like I've had other companies lose my packages. And then I love that now they actually take a picture when they leave your like items there,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, off, because I've had times where like they just left it on the wrong door, and I'm like, that's not my rug or something.
Yeah.
But
One
needed
place that keeps messing up is the United States Postal Service actually. We've had like
yeah,
3 packages come to our door and I'm like, dude, this is like apartment 1093. I'm like, did somebody have a dyslexic moment or something? I
yeah,
was
we've
like, what the heck, you know?
had that. And then like with my mask business, my Etsy shop, I um I send out stuff constantly. I ship stuff out all the time, and some
Yeah.
stuff gets lost. And I'm like, great, now I have to remake this item, which is
Mhm.
like materials, that's a material cost. And then I have to repay for postage because I don't know where it is. Like it's just
Yeah,
gone. It's been
exactly.
in transit for 2 weeks. So
Yeah, that's why a lot of people have to go to FedEx and UPS where they give you a tracking number so you can track
yeah,
that package the whole way through. It's crazy
yeah.
for businesses that have to mail out everything. So
Mhm.
when you do buy a wig, do you buy it pre-styled or do you like to style it on your own?
So I try to buy wigs that are as close to this style as I need,
Hmm.
to just eliminate extra work because I don't necessarily like styling wigs. I can
Yeah, I
do
don't blame
it,
you. It's hard. Yeah,
um, especially when you have lace front wigs, because it's like, okay, you got to cut your lace nice, and then you have to like give it a hairline, and then you have to give it some baby hairs so it looks natural. And it's just so time consuming. And I'm like, I don't have the patience for this.
yeah, understandable.
If I could like if I knew someone locally who could style wigs the way that I wanted them styled, I would absolutely commission it because I'm a big, big believer in supporting small business.
Right.
So I am looking for small businesses to support and
Yeah.
commission.
Yeah, I remember when my daughter was in beauty pageants when she was 3 and 2 years old. We found a costume maker who wanted to make my daughter's costumes for free, and I'm like, whoa,
Oh,
okay, wow. And so she
was it just
gave,
like she would take the pictures and get the
yeah, so she would get the pictures and she would get the advertising and everything like that. And she's like, "Yeah, your daughter is so cute and like here wear these dresses that are mine." And she's won like several awards when she was little. But
that's so good.
yeah, and it's pretty cool like that that's what you need to find is one of those, hey, we're going to make this cosplay for you. I was like, "Okay, okay, cool." You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Save me
yeah.
this blood, sweat, and tears. you know.
Yeah, there's some things where I'm like, I don't want this. Like, can someone else make it for me?
Yeah, for like, for your Gwenpool cosplay. Now, is that what type of material was that?
So I used a four-way stretch spandex for the bodysuit.
Okay.
The part is actually like a spandex, like lycra type of stuff. So it's actually like a shiny fabric. The other fabric isn't shiny; it's pretty matte. It feels like a knit material,
Okay.
like a shirt, I guess. But the pink is like a shiny like fabric. Um, and then I used EVA foam to make the arm bracers and the shin guards.
Nice.
Uh, and then I made the belt. I just went to Goodwill and I bought a belt. And then I glued a G with EVA foam. Like I just cut a G out and I glued it to the front of the belt. So
Nice. Yeah, so
uh,
with a lot of people, they look at Deadpool cosplays and they're like, "Oh, that's like leather," and I'm like, "Oh, that would be so hot," because for those who don't live in Arizona, it would be amazing cosplay, but for those who do live in Arizona, where cons are always in the summer, it
yeah,
is uncomfortable.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, the Gwenpool costume is hot. Um, and that's because I double layer all of my bodysuits. Because sometimes when you get the stretch material, as soon as it stretches, it's see through.
oh, okay,
So always double layer any of my bodysuits, even if it's a dark color, just because I don't want that risk of like, bending over and like showing a kid my butt because they're standing behind me. So
yeah,
I like
you're right.
I always double layer any of my bodysuits, which does get very hot because it's already like a thicker material.
Yeah,
So double layering it, and you're just like, oh, I'm sweaty and I'm stuck. I get that a lot in like Spidey suits too when I do Spider Gwen.
yeah.
Those are
No, it's true because even with that mesh material, it's just like, okay, people can see my everything, so let's try to cover that up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So do you prefer to cosplaying with characters with props, or do you not like carrying around a prop all day?
Um, you know, Gwenpool has a lot of props. I I have 3 guns for Gwenpool. I have swords and I have daggers. I don't
Okay.
mind that with Gwenpool. Then I have a lot of freedom to like, oh, I can pose like this. I can pose like this. I can use my swords. Um, and then Wonder Woman has a few props. I don't really mind carrying them, but sometimes it is nice to have those cosplays where I can be hands free and have like fanny packs or something.
Yeah,
Especially when I can incorporate the back into the cosplay. I'm like, oh,
right. So have you ever done a cosplay panel before?
yes. My boyfriend and I just coordinate cosplay. We do a lot of panels at conventions.
Nice.
Um, we like to do we do this one where if anyone has ever seen the anime Death Parade, amazing anime, it's beautiful. But we base it off of that anime, and in that anime, you play games for your soul, basically. Like it chooses whether you go to heaven or hell.
Oh, nice.
So we do that in a panel, but where we play games like Heads Up, 7 Up, or like Hot Potato and stuff.
The
And we
old
play
classic games.
the classic, like fun games. So it's just like a fun panel. But we give out little poker chip things at the beginning of the panel, and we're like, okay, this represents your soul. So if you want to be the person who chooses what game we're going to play out of our little bucket that we have, they have to give us their soul. And
Oh,
if they win that game, like they get reincarnated and we give them their soul back. If they lose that game, then like they get sent to the void essentially.
yeah,
But we do also give them like other people who didn't choose the game but are still participants. If they
yeah.
win the game, we have gift bags and we have it hidden so that like you just see a row of gift bags in the front. But on the back of the bags are randomized, so they'll say either like reincarnated or void. So like whatever gift bag you get depends on like where you stand.
Oh,
But
nice.
it's a lot.
Very nice.
It's a fun panel that we do like at almost every con that we go to.
Nice. So, if you could tell your past self anything about cosplay, what would you say to Alice?
I would say get into it sooner, you know, like get into it sooner and then you have more stuff, you have more cosplays.
So would you say the older you get, the better you are getting at cosplay, or would you say because like because you didn't start
No,
early, you're missing
I
out?
just would have had more time.
Okay.
I would have had more time and, you know, more time to make stuff and have fun.
Yeah. One person told me the older I get, the better I get at cosplay because I have money. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, I guess.
And I guess that, or like I think skills too, like your skills get better over time.
Yeah,
So if I had started early, because now, and then now it's also like I'm really old. So sometimes like I meet people at conventions and they like want to hang out and everything, and then it's like they're 17 and I'm like too old to like hang out with you,
yeah, no,
you
that's
know.
yeah.
And
You
it's
go
so
to
it's
these conventions and you're like, oh, hey, you're at the like little dance party and everything, and this girl comes up to you and you're like, hey, what's up? And you're like, I'm 16. I'm gonna walk this way.
yeah, yeah, it's hard because it's like I want to make so many friends, but then sometimes you find out that people are just are underage or they're so much younger than you, and I find that sometimes it's hard to relate because like
Yeah.
I'm almost 60, and so it's hard to relate to someone who's 17.
You said you're
And I'm like
almost
I
20. What?
30.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
Oh, I wish I was almost
I
20.
was like, wow, you're very young. Yep.
No, I'm
Yeah.
almost 30.
No,
Old
it's
lady.
always funny because you got to follow the Parks and Rec rule about dating, right? It's like, oh, I forgot what it was now off the top of my head. Where he's like, you have to uh, double it and then take away 9.
Yeah, I don't watch that show, so I
No,
don't know.
yeah. So
But
have
yeah,
you
it's
ever thought of like building your ultimate cosplay, and what would it be?
my ultimate cosplay would be every single outfit that Nicole Kidman wears in Moulin Rouge. Um,
True that.
every
That's
outfit
amazing.
is beautiful beyond measure. I don't think I have the skills to make that. Like as much as I would love to, my skills are just not there. That is like some
Yet.
fine tune. Yeah, not yet. But then I fear, getting better over time. I'm gonna be like 40 before I have those skills, and I'm like,
Yeah.
then at that point, I'm just too old to cosplay those outfits.
Negative. Makeup is a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
there's a
those are some of
60-year-old cosplayer.
I think.
Yeah. There's a 60-year-old cosplayer that does like, My Hero Academia and characters. I'm like, and you wouldn't even know because her makeup skills are amazing. And you're like, whoa, that's insane. So you never know. You never know. So what do you think is the most difficult character makeup you've done?
Most of the character makeup. I would say this one, because I had to get up at like 8 o'clock this morning to paint myself pink.
Yep.
Um, and I have not ever done body painting or anything like that before. This isn't even body paint, it's blush. I spent a really, really, really long time just dabbing blush on to get the right like pigments and then using a darker brush to like contour, like, you know, um, all of my other cosplay characters are fairly easy makeup. They don't have any like crazy scars or like anything like that. So
Yeah, you might want to
it
talk to Starfire uh, or Sapphire Nova cosplayer. She knows how to do that makeup right on point.
mm,
Uh, she has like a method that she's created or something. So,
hmm.
since you
I
did some cons with Superhero Unlimited, you probably have a contact with her. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Uh, Technically, I became a model with Superheroes Unlimited,
nice.
and then Corona hit. I
And
haven't
then
actually,
what?
and then Corona hit. So
Oh, and
like,
then yeah,
yeah, so like I haven't actually had the opportunity to really like do anything with them.
yeah,
But that's what I did the couch cons for because they're like, hey, like they wanted to let the models like have an opportunity to do, the couch con or whatever. So that's why I did
nice.
those. But yeah, I haven't actually had the chance to go to a con with them as like a model officially or anything like that
Yeah.
because obviously cons. So it's like I was really excited about it. I was like, yeah, I have this cool like we're gonna do this, and then I can like announce it, and then it just the
Fell
world
apart.
caught
Yeah.
fire. So
Yeah.
yeah, so hopefully when the world goes back to normal, I'll actually be able to be like,
Right.
I'm on superheroes unlimited.
Yeah, exactly. So in your opinion, what makes a cosplayer a pro cosplayer?
Um, I don't know. I feel like pro cosplayer and cosplayer. I guess a pro would be someone who just makes a lot of money doing it because anyone I think has the potential to make money at
Yeah.
it. Um, you can make commissions, like someone could just be like, oh, I specifically make wigs or whatever, and they can, they still cosplay. So I would consider that like a pro cosplayer, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make money off of your craft, then I guess maybe a pro.
So what would you say is your favorite part of cosplaying?
The outfits,
The
playing
outfits.
dress up. Yeah, getting to play dress up and just yeah, I think that's a lot of fun. I think that's like the best part is just getting to put on something that I don't wear in my normal day to day life. Um, do my makeup how I wouldn't normally do it, wear my hair in different ways. Like, I just think it's fun because it's like I get to be somebody else for like a change and I
Hmm.
get to like explore.
Nice. So, like everything, there's good and there's evil to every situation. So, what are some bad things about cosplay that you found?
Um, I let's see. I think some people are more concerned about likes and getting popular and things like that and getting like cost famous. Um, and I think that is kind of a negative because there's the people that are like, I just want to do this for fun, like me personally. Like, I mean, yeah, I'd love to make money on it. Don't get me wrong, um, but like I do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun making characters and like coming up with ideas in my head. I'm like, oh, it would be cool to like do this and then like add some of this, like change this up. Like to me, I have a lot of fun with that. And then I think some people get discouraged because they're like, oh, well, I did this cosplay. I spent all these hours making it and I got like 5 likes or something on Instagram. And it's like that's not what's important. What's important is like, do you feel happy with it? Do you feel happy when you wear it?
Yeah,
Are you proud of it?
exactly.
And um I think that's kind of a negative is people get focused on that.
Yeah. There's always a polarization of everything in some degree, and you're gonna have the haters of cosplay, and you're gonna have the lovers of cosplay, and then you're gonna have the freaks of cosplay, and there's always that limit that people have. Now, one campaign that was always pushed a few years ago was cosplay doesn't equal consent, meaning that
Mm-hmm.
like you can't just go up to a cosplayer and give her a hug and touch her naughty bits of some sort, you know because for a time that was happening like constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel that in towards as we get more into cosplay that that's going to be less and less occurring, that people are going to be more conscious of the cosplayer and be respectful?
I would like to think that people will eventually understand keep your hands to yourself. Um, but sadly, I think that there's still people out there that will like I guess women in particular, especially female cosplays, or cosplayers, they'll see like a woman and just assume that they're like a toy. Like there's a lot of men out there that see women as property,
Hmm.
and I think it's something that just needs to change from like at a very young age that boys need to be taught that no, you can't just touch someone because you want to, or like you can't just grope somebody. So I think really it starts with like teaching kids to not, you know, do that kind of thing to each other, because
Yeah.
if you don't teach them that, that's how you get the adults that are like, oh, well, I can just grab this woman's ass because that's how she's dressed.
Yeah.
So I think it just has to be like a whole mindset shift of where like people finally realize it's not appropriate.
So do you have any friends that you go to conventions with before the corona hit, of course? Do you prefer to go to conventions solo, or do you like to go as a group?
I like to go with like a couple of people. Like I like to keep it kind of a smaller group because I
Nice.
feel like when you have a big people together, it's harder to keep track of, especially if you're walking through like the vendor hall.
Hmm.
Because if you have 4 or 5 people, it's easy to kind of clump together. But if you have like a group of 6 or 7 people, like all your friends, it's like you
Right.
got 2 people here and people over here, and it's like, so usually when I go, it's just like me and my boyfriend, and I have like another friend that will sometimes be with me, and we'll walk around and wander together. So
Nice.
it's like usually I like to stick with one other person.
So have you ever purchased anything for your cosplay at a convention?
At a convention, I don't think so. No. Oh, actually, well, technically, I didn't buy it. My friend bought me um, Wonder Woman's sword
Oh,
because I
wow.
was like, oh, I've been like wanting to make God Killer out of like EVA foam, but I was just having a really hard time doing it. And there was like a plastic God Killer there for like $40, and I was like, will you buy this for me?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, they were like, oh, okay, fine. So like they bought me that sword that I use when I do Wonder Woman. But other
Nice.
than that, I haven't. I don't think so.
Well, this is the time of the interview where we start to wind down. And for anybody in the live chat, if you have a question for the cosplayer, for Alys Belyn, uh, feel free to type it into the chat. So, do you feel, Alys, that we're going to get back into the norm of things hopefully soon? Or do you feel that we're on a trajectory of doom and we're no longer going to have conventions or concerts outside?
I don't think it's gonna be soon. I think conventions will come back eventually. I don't think it's gonna be anytime soon because we still have people who think it's a hoax. You know, there's still people that are like, I'm not gonna wear a mask, and it's just like, come on, guys. And then I
Yeah.
think kids going back to school right now, in person, is going to drive things up again. I think I like personally that's how I feel.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I don't think like it's the time yet.
Mm.
But I do think that like eventually things will level out and go back to normal. And
Nice.
like I say this because I'm a person with extreme OCD, especially with germs, and also someone with an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
So I have to be like extra careful. So I'm like extra cautious about everything. And I'm like, I just don't think that right now is a good time for anything.
No, I think the more cosplayers I interview, the more I find out that every single cosplayer has some sort of autoimmune disorder or depression, anxiety, and they create these wonderful works of art. So, with you having an autoimmune disorder, how do you cope with the constant cramping or anything like that that comes with it? Like, what are some tips that you could offer for those who have your type of disorder when they are making cosplays?
My type of disorder is actually like really stupid. Um, I
If you don't mind sharing,
I just
of course.
I just have, my thing is chronic hives.
Okay.
I get hives from everything. So like mine is not the same as other people's. I don't have like the chronic pain that some people face and with
Yeah.
their disorders and things. Mine is I'm just always really itchy.
Oh.
I get I get welts from everything. My skin is very pressure sensitive.
Hmm.
So even wearing leggings sometimes, like the seam of my leggings is enough to cause like a welt, like where the seam was. Um,
Yeah.
so because of that, it's just my body is always fighting. It's like fighting itself essentially. So
Yeah.
I am tired a lot. Like I get drained so easy.
Hmm.
So that's like the biggest I think drawback with my um, autoimmune is that I get really really tired, and it's just because my body is always fighting itself
Yeah.
because
Well,
I'm always itchy.
thank you so much for coming on to the show for the interview. I appreciate your time. And your cosplay is an amazing cosplay. I love the headpiece. That's amazing. So is there anything that you would like to tell your fans who watch the Breed broadcast or anything like that? You know,
Just thank you for watching, and please support me. Also, please support my Etsy store. I am like 10 sales away from getting 1,000, which I would like to get to this month. So uh, buy
yeah.
stuff from my Etsy.
And we'll make sure we put
Uh,
the links in the YouTube video as well and everything. So it's pretty cool.
and
Awesome.
thank you, and thanks for having me.
All right.
This was fun.
Take care.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.